And now it's time for Make It Happen with David Lorms. He is an award-winning insurance expert, best-selling author, and business owner talking about how to make your life, your career, and business better. Here's David.
Welcome back to another episode of Make It Happen with David Lorms. Today I'm really excited because I have a friend of the neighborhood and business owner, Shawn Salyers, here with us. He is the owner of Mytiburger in Oak Forest and Baskin Robbins. Welcome, Shawn.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm glad you could make it today. We got to feast on some of the food earlier today. So if we sound sleepy, it's because we started there. But, Shawn, I think you have a really great story. We've talked about it a little bit earlier. And you're from Corpus Christi originally, right?
That's correct. Yep.
And you went to high school there. And while you were there, you were in Selena's band, right? No. Do people ask you that if you know Selena? Because
I hear that a lot. Yeah, usually most of the time it's for people outside of Texas. When I'll run into them like, oh, that's where Selena's from.
Isn't that funny? Even still now they ask that. But you went to high school there, and didn't you tell me earlier that you dated your lovely wife Jill in middle school?
Yeah. We dated in middle school, and then high school we kind of went our separate ways. She went to the dance team, and I was more into football, baseball, and surfing. And then I went off to the Army. She went to A&M, and then we met back again afterwards, like after college.
Wow.
Yeah.
And did y'all stay in touch at all during that time? Or
Not at all. I mean, we had some mutual friends, and I was actually playing poker, and I was, one of the guys I was playing poker with was like, yeah, you're from Corpus? My cousin's from Corpus. And I was like, oh, yeah, really?
Oh, wow.
What's her name? Jill Prado. I was like, oh, yeah, I remember her. And next thing you know, she's coming into town next week. And then, the rest is history. So.
That's a cool story. Yeah. A lot of us are still looking for that right one. And you found her in middle school.
The weird thing is the day I was supposed to meet her, I got a fortune cookie and that said, someone from your past will come to steal your heart.
Really?
And I still have that fortune cookie, it's with a picture of the frame from the day we met, or the day we re-met.
You framed it.
Yeah.
Did she make that fortune cookie?
Yeah, that's an elaborate ruse. Yeah.
Way to go, Jill! I like that trick. So, from Corpus Christi, tell us what you did after high school.
After high school, really, I kind of dropped out of high school for about a year and a half, and I went back and finished through alternative high school, just kind of a
GED.
Yeah, and it was really just a check the box program. It was just kind of had to do some paperwork and a few lessons, and next thing you know, I had it wasn't GED, it was actual high school diploma.
Oh, okay.
That was just so I can get in the Army.
Oh, okay.
And then from there I went to the Army, went to the Army Infantry, and I got to I did pretty well on the ASVAB, so they let me take some college courses, and I realized that, hey, school's actually not that bad, especially when my buddies were working out in the snow and they were digging holes and I was in college. I was like, oh, maybe this college should keep doing this. So
what made you think about going into the Army? I think that's very admirable, but what made you decide to do that?
I come from a military family.
That makes sense.
My uncle was an Air Force sergeant. My grandfather was a Master Chief in the Navy. And I was always kind of had that, kind of patriotism and respect for the military. And on top of that, I was young. I just wanted to jump out of helicopters and shoot stuff.
Okay. Well, where were you stationed?
I was at Fort Benning, Georgia, and then Fort Riley, Kansas, and then I was in Camp Casey, Korea on the DMZ.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. What rank did you end up with?
I ended up sergeant.
Okay. Yeah. And so how many years were you there in the Army? I
did 4 years active, and then I did 4 years in the Guard as a paralegal.
Oh, okay.
In Austin when I was going to when I was going to University of Texas.
I think that's real interesting about you. I don't think many people know that you were in the Army or a vet and in the National Guard. I think that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So you get out of the Army, and then what do you do next?
Well, I went from the Army. I went to college. I did some time in San Antonio at community college, and then from there I transferred to University of Texas. And I stayed in the National Guard, so I kind of had one foot still with being a paralegal.
Right.
And went to UT. Got my bachelor's in advertising. And from then I went to the whole time I was doing that, I was also waiting tables also. So.
Wow, that's a tough job. I did that too, and
Yeah.
you're on your feet all day long,
Oh, yeah.
and it's rough, and there's always interesting stories to tell about waiting tables. But do you think that started getting your interest in food service and maybe owning a?
Well, my first job when I was 16 was was Whataburger,
Okay.
and it was kind of just go out and find a job, and that was when they hired me. And then from then I went to my second job was Baskin Robbins. And then from then I started waiting tables. I mean, I was kind of just looking for the money, and I was
Right.
my buddies waited tables. And I was like, wow, he always had a stack of money for
Right.
a kid at 18 years old. I was like, wow, it looks like easy money. So I went to that, and I had a really good manager at Black Eyed Pea in Corpus who he one time he told us this business you make your own raises.
Oh yeah.
And that just kind of kind of snapped something in me where I was like, well, I like that idea of being. I think it started the entrepreneurial spirit in me where I was like, I like the idea of going out and kind of eating what you kill. I mean, going out
Right.
and earning, not having to depend on somebody to give you that raise. So.
It's funny that you mentioned that you worked at Whataburger because I've seen online and I've heard people compare Mytiburger to Whataburger.
Yeah.
And you told me how that happened. But,
Well, a long time ago, there was Mytiburger was a Whataburger franchise, and something happened with the old owner split it off, and it became Mytiburger. So there's a lot of similarities between the way Whataburger was a long time ago and what Mytiburger is now. So.
Well, they're very good hamburgers, I have to say. But when was Mytiburger built?
The building, or this Mytiburger in particular, was 1967.
Wow, it's really got a great
And
50s, 60s vibe.
The building is actually from the 50s. It was Miller's burgers before that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really got a cool old vibe. And don't you have classic cars there occasionally?
The second and fourth Saturday of every month, we have a classic car cruise in, where it's just kind of there's no contest, there's no entry fees, just kind of bring your car in, and everybody just kind of hangs out,
check it out,
talks about cars,
and have a burger and a shake.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, you have a big parking lot to do that.
Exactly. Yeah.
And do you have regulars that come and bring their car there?
Oh yeah, a pretty good crew that comes in, and it's always, they kind of rotate out, so it's they have a few different cars every time, and
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. The place used to be where high school kids used to go and like the cruise-in place, and they'd go drag race somewhere else. So back when that was the edge of town.
Right.
So it's kind of a tradition. So
well, it's good that you kind of keep that theme moving along with the 50, 60 vibe of the diner. Well, so you were in ad sales here in Houston,
right?
And tell me what your next step was in your career.
I was at Azteca America. I was selling ad sales for them, and then I had a buddy that worked in oil and gas, and I worked for it was Sandelius Instruments. It's a temperature instrumentation. They've been around for 75 years, and they needed another sales guy, so I just jumped on with them. And worked in oil and gas like most people in Houston, and it was a pretty good job. You get a great bunch of guys, but I think I got tired of telling my boss what he should do with his business, and him not listening to me. And I thought I knew everything, so I decided I'm going to go back into what I know is restaurants, and start do my own things.
Well, we recently had a guest on the show who quoted, and I'm going to use her quote. She said, "If you don't follow your own dream, you're going to work for someone who is following theirs."
Exactly.
And that's exactly what you did, and I think that's amazing. So here is someone that you or someone that were in high school, and didn't you tell me that you had a learning disability too?
Yep, that is correct. Yeah.
And how did that affect your education, do you think?
I had a rough time in school. I mean, elementary school, I was in a resource program. I got held back a grade. I was constantly having to go to counselors. I don't know if I was ever formally diagnosed, but I had just a lot of trouble. I mean, I think it was some form of dyslexia.
Yeah.
And I remember going to resource, like what they called it, and having to sit there, and they kind of just put me in the corner. I just did my work there. Nobody really helped me. It was kind of
yeah. Well.
And I mean, so I would sit there and listen to the other kids that really needed help, and I was just in the corner kind of figuring it out myself. And I think really what it did was it just kind of taught the way I approach problems academically, and now just operationally is different, I think, than most people, and especially my math problem. I had a lot of trouble with math, and the way I approached the the way they taught me to do it in school never worked for me. I always had to kind of figure out my own way.
Gotcha.
And so I think it really affected the way I just approach things.
Sure. Had they figured that out then,
Right.
it would have been a different experience. Well, I think this is pretty inspiring. I mean, you were in school, learning disability. You dropped out for a little while, and then you went to the Army and kind of got your act together and figured out, hey, this is my passion. I want to do this. And my friends, I'm surrounding myself with friends that are, have their stuff together too, and ended up going to college and graduating from college, and even with a disability and dropping out of high school for a little while. So that's a pretty amazing story. I mean, I bet you're kind of proud of that. I'm proud of just saying it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to toot my own horn too much, but yeah, I kind of just stumbled into it, just kept going, and to me, University of Texas was like kind of I don't know, man. None of my friends, none of the guys I surfed with, none of the guys I like hung out with and did a bunch of bad things with, were aspiring to that. And I applied, got accepted, and next thing you know, it wasn't as hard as I thought. After the Army, it was kind of, studying for a final wasn't a big deal. So,
right, because you'd already gone through some hard stuff.
Exactly.
Well, so you were working for Azteca and thinking, I might want to run my own business because my boss is not listening to me. So how'd you find Mytiburger?
Well, first was Baskin Robbins.
Baskin Robbins.
Right,
okay.
Right. And that was just, it was a franchise, and I knew the business really. Well, I always say it was the best job I ever had. Baskin Robbins was, it was so easy. It was just such an easy job for a kid, and had a lot of good times there. So I was like, well, it's a simple operation. It was so I gravitated towards Baskin Robbins, and I thought, I thought Oak Forest would be a perfect spot for it. I live in Timber Grove, which is pretty close by, and I just always drive around the neighborhoods looking for like little hole-in-the-wall places. And I stumbled onto Ella and 43rd about, like 4 years ago, and I was like, man, there's a lot going on around here, and I think there's a lot of opportunity. And so it just seemed like a perfect fit. So there was no available real estate at the time, but there was a check cashing place that was going out of business. It had a good landlord a good realtor that knew this, and he got me in that spot.
When what year was this?
This was 2009.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I was living in the neighborhood then when that check cashing place was there. I was
and
so glad to see it go.
It's a good little neighborhood, and it's near my house, and I believe in the area, and I was like, man, I think a Baskin Robbins would work really good here.
Yes, because for a while I think you were the only option for the area for some of that good ice cream. Right. And then you found Mytiburger. So you added that to your
I was looking for another project, and I was actually dealing with another franchise, and they couldn't. It was a small franchise that I would have been the first one, and they couldn't get their act together on it. And then I saw Mytiburger was it was about to close, and I saw the lines out the door. There was it was so packed because people were so upset that it was closing. And I was like, well, I just trying to work out a deal. I know she's looking for a buyer, so we were able to come to terms, and it closed for 2 weeks, and I bought it, and I reopened it afterwards.
It's kind of funny. Yeah, it's kind of funny though. Just listening to you tell your story, you kind of started off in the ice cream and hamburger business, and now you're in it again.
Exactly.
But you're the boss. You own it, and you
Right.
are working toward your own money and dream, and I think that's kind of amazing how that worked out. So tell me this about Mytiburger, though, because there are people that have specials named after them, I think.
Well, there's one gentleman, Harry. He's the Harry the curb painter.
Yes.
Good guy. I mean, he's actually he was painting my curb when I first moved to Timber Grove about 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And and I'm always, back then, still now, I'm always looking for hole in the wall restaurants. I'm always looking for little mom and pop shops, and I always dive bars. And so I was talking to Harry, and he knew the guy knows everything. Every neighbor, every hole in the wall, every neighborhood, he knows it backwards and forwards because of his job. And I was sitting there on the curb with him while he painted my University of Texas and my A&M sign for my wife. And and he he was like, you want a really good burger, you go to that Mytiburger place.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, cool, I'll give it a shot. I've driven by this, and I kept like, okay, Mytiburger, what is that? My Thai burger. And so I went by there, and I liked it, and then I went there, a couple more times after that, and I was like, that's a pretty good place. And next thing you know, 2-3 years later, actually, I guess 5 years later, I own it. So.
Wow, that's great. Well, we're going to be back in a minute with Shawn Salyers talking about how he has made it happen for him. Please tweet your questions to @DavidL2490, and we'll be back after these messages.
The Fort Bend Playbook is live this summer for an hour and a half every Thursday from 4 to 5:30 p.m.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I think Coach Fleming has different expectations. Therefore, you got to look good, you play good, you feel good.
I've seen Cody Cunningham's tape from this spring. He seems to have more confidence inside the pocket.
Join Aston Jean Lewis and M.A. Pate as they continue their coverage of Fort Bend ISD athletics, only on KBRZSports.com.
KBRZ Sports Radio strives to bring our listeners the most up-to-date, comprehensive high school varsity sports coverage available in the Fort Bend County area. We're committed to providing the latest news and information on standings, statistics, schedules, team and school information, as well as community-focused programs. Our programs allow our advertisers the opportunity to share information about their products and services with our audience. Advertisers can target their ideal customers, build brand awareness and customer loyalty, grow their businesses, and partner with a company that is rooted and committed to the Fort Bend County community. For advertising information, call Russ Johns at 206-930-7440 or log on to www.kbrzsports.com. As a parent, do you worry each and every time your young athlete takes to the playing field about what it would be like if an incident occurred during play resulting in a head injury? Not playing is not an option. Here at KBRZ Sports Radio, we share in your concerns and efforts to keep our young athletes safe and healthy. They are our future, and we must do our jobs as parents, coaches, and a radio station to promote keeping that future safe by offering a tried and true solution: functional cognitive baseline testing. We all have various abilities in cognition or brain function. Without a baseline, there is no way to truly indicate a problem caused by a concussion or head trauma. Let's face it, with all our sports heroes now coming forward with issues from head injuries suffered from the game, this is a risk none of us can afford. Check out temr.net for more information. That's temr.net. Performance Pilates and GTC Gym and Training Center in Greatwood are your answer to getting spring break swimsuit ready. We offer private and small group personal training and Pilates classes. GTC now with 24-hour access. Call 281-224-0013. More information at greatwoodtrainingcenter.com or performance-pilates.com.
And we're back talking with Shawn Salyers, the owner of Mytiburger and Baskin Robbins in Oak Forest, Garden Oaks area. And before we went to break, I just want to bring this up one last time because he asked me to. We were talking about Harry, the Texas curb painter, and he wanted us to say that if you order his special, right, you get some kind of special meal deal. What is that?
He orders if you order the Harry special, he gets a catfish sandwich, onion rings, and a chocolate shake.
Yeah. It's good, isn't it? Sounds really good. So hopefully we made Harry happy because he knows everyone in the neighborhood and knows everything in the neighborhood. So I wanted to make sure we did a little shout out for him. But what I wanted to have you talk about now is what gave you your work ethic? What helped you develop your desire to achieve and accomplish? It
was definitely a combination of my grandmother. I was raised by my grandmother. My mother passed away when I was 4, so my grandmother raised me. She was from the Depression.
Oh, yeah.
And she grew up in rural San Diego, Texas, picking cotton.
Wow.
So, and she was also a Navy wife.
Yes.
She worked, when I was a kid, she worked at HEB as a night stalker. She helped run a
stalker.
A night, yeah, she stalked. She's a stalker.
I know what you mean.
She also cleaned houses for a rental company, and she also worked for a storage rental place.
Wow.
Yeah. And she was always working, man. I mean, it was, and like she would have me out there cleaning storage sheds. It was you're going to be working. If you're going to be in this house, you're once you turn of age where you can pick something up and work, you're going to be doing something. And I remember getting home from 2-a-days and football, and like all my aunts, her sisters would come over and be like, "You have a grown boy sitting there. He's not doing anything. He needs to be working." I mean, you better be doing something. So,
yeah.
It was kind of like.
And you probably were resentful then, but
exactly.
pretty happy now because
exactly.
I came from a similar background. I wasn't raised by my grandmother, but my parents, and we were always working, doing chores, whatever. My dad had a company, and we were always working too. And so I think that has helped me with my success, as I'm sure it has with yours, because always worked. Right. Always doing something extra, and we're going to get into some of that extra stuff that you do later in the show. But what I want to talk about now is that you've got Mytiburger and you've got Baskin Robbins. I wanted to see, who do you consider your competitors for Mytiburger in the area?
Well, there's hundreds of burger places in the area. I mean, there's literally in Houston, there's probably thousands. And then in our little area, there's indirect competitors. Right. There's a lot of nice little bars and like restaurants that put out a gourmet burger.
Yes.
I don't really consider them direct competitors, but they're on the radar.
Yeah.
I think the direct competitors would be like a Itty Bitty Burger Barn,
yes,
Rosnowski's, Five Guys.
Yeah.
And all of them do a great product. They're all really good people and good companies. So I mean, they actually, I think we're better because of them, because we're always looking at what they're doing and trying to one-up them. And I hope they're doing the same thing.
And let's talk about that, one-up them, because there had been some chatter. A few people had said some things that the fries maybe weren't up to par. And, you can't never make everybody happy. But and so you were going to change them and offer a different kind of fry, and then people complain that
we have a fresh cut fry, and I was kind of flirting with changing it on the menu, and my old customers started getting angry about it. So we offer both. We offer the frozen fries, and but people just come in and order fries. They get they always get just regular fries.
Sure.
But we have the fresh cut fries. We also have homemade onion rings. We have tater tots. We have sweet potato fries. So, I mean,
my favorite are those jalapenos, those fried jalapenos with the cheese inside.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're low cal too.
Oh yeah, we don't talk about calories at Mytiburger.
No, you don't go there for a diet. No. But what I really like about the Mytiburger is that y'all really will make anything.
Right.
If you've got the ingredients, you're going to make it all.
Yeah, we don't name our burgers. You just come in there and tell us what you want on it, and we have all the stuff we have on there, and it's a little bit, I guess, maybe a little bit more work because you have to decide what you want, but you get the burger the way you want it.
And now y'all have breakfast, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, we have breakfast tacos, breakfast burgers, and we have really good biscuits and gravy. And biscuit sandwiches,
Yum. Now, I think Harry posted a picture of the biscuits and gravy. So what time do y'all open?
We open at 7.
At 7. Yeah. Okay, so that's good. You can have a little breakfast and come back for lunch.
Right. You can also call it in, pick it up through the drive-thru on your way to work.
Yes, absolutely. That's a good idea. I mean, I'm glad you said that. Okay, so who do you really think is your competition with Baskin Robbins in the area?
Baskin Robbins, everybody has ice cream right now. Sonic, McDonald's, every Burger King, they all have, Dairy Queen, they all have ice cream.
Yes.
I consider them indirect competitors. More direct competitors would be, some of the new frozen yogurt places come in the neighborhood. You got Menchie's, Sweet Frogs. We also still have Marble Slab and Cold Stone around. Yeah. And then you got Fat Cats just moving to the area.
Yeah.
But the good thing is I think we all fit a different market niche.
Yes.
So we're not, we're not completely bumping heads with each other.
Right.
So
that's good. I agree with you too, because I think it helps each other out, because if you're just wanting to go and have some good ice cream and not worry about stepping on the scale, you're going to go to Baskin Robbins.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Just forget it. I want some Oreo cookies in my ice cream.
I always say Baskin Robbins, actually, they have, all kinds of marketing, geniuses there, and they have surveys on what do customers want. And customers always say they want no fat, they want like healthy choices. But when they go in there, they always get the Oreo cookies and cream. They get Jamoke almond fudge.
Isn't that
and
interesting?
nobody over orders the healthy stuff. So
I guess you just feel good that you could possibly have some cardboard versus
yeah.
ice cream. But, you know, one of your specialties at your store is that y'all have cakes.
Oh, yeah.
And you have, carry 40 different cakes per day? I mean, you have them available.
Yeah, we probably have about 30 to 50 cakes
wow.
In stock. And then we can also custom order anything you want with 24 hours. So.
And how many sizes do they come in?
It comes from anything from a 6-inch round, which feeds about maybe 4 people, to a full sheet. We can actually do double full sheets, triple full sheets. We can make it as big as you want.
Right.
But the full sheet feeds about I want to say 35 people. So.
Well, the good thing is ice cream, so it's going to keep well when you put it in the freezer.
Right. Exactly.
If you don't eat it all in one day.
Exactly. With ice cream and cake, actually. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you think is more common? Do people come in and just buy cake, or do they order them?
They come in and buy them. And the good thing is, if you just walk in and buy a cake, we can put whatever you want on it. All of our employees can write on cakes.
Oh, okay,
so
great.
We can customize it for you right there.
That's super.
So if you forget somebody's birthday or your boss's day and you forgot, you can get something real quick.
What's the kind of price range for a cake?
We're looking at we have a small half roll. I forgot about that one, which costs about $12.
Wow.
So a very small cake.
But still, that's affordable.
Yeah, our 1/3 is the most popular. Runs about $24.
I mean, considering ice cream in the grocery store is $8 a gallon, that's a pretty good deal.
This is a custom cake. I mean, these are this is whatever flavor you want. Even if you get the ones already pre-made, it's done in the store by hand. So
I think that's great. I love it. And how many flavors do y'all carry?
We carry 32 at a time. And then Baskin Robbins has over 1,000 flavors.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, they've actually, they've been doing it since the 1950s. So they bring stuff back out of the lockers every once in a while.
So how do you pick which flavors you're gonna have?
It's a lot of it is like what we have to have, our most popular flavors, and then it's just what I think looks like fun. You always have to have something for the kids, like a bubble gum or a rock and pop swirl, something the kids are going to like. And then I get to pick maybe 2 or 3 that looks really good.
Has there ever been a big surprise hit that you thought, man, this is ice cream, it's called mud, it's never going to take off, and then it's a big hit. Have you ever had something like that?
I haven't really been surprised, because usually the ones there's some that come out where you're just like, man, that is really good. And you're like, the name sounds good. They do a pretty good job. I've had a few that they've had where it's just like, why did they do that flavor? Like a Firehouse 31 was just, it was like, I think it was like cinnamon, like icy hot.
Oh, okay.
It was like, man, it was like with a ribbon in there, and they had a popcorn one.
Oh.
Where I was like, why? But that's the thing with 1,000 flavors. There's going to be some busts in there.
Yeah, and something for everybody.
The vast majority of them are really good. So.
Something for everybody. And aren't you running a special at Baskin Robbins for folks that are listening to the store? The show. Why don't you tell us about that?
If you listen to the show for the next week and you come in, you're going to get a buy one get one free 2-scoop sundae.
Ooh. Man.
Yeah. There you go.
So just mention Make It Happen with David Lorms that you heard Shawn Salyers on the program, and you'll get buy one, get one free.
And with Mytiburger, if you go in there and say you heard the show, then you'll get a free shake with any burger.
Wow. That's pretty good. Can that apply to me? I'll stop by after the show.
Only one, David.
Well, thank you. That's very generous. I'm glad you did that. But besides your businesses, you're also very involved in the community. And you are involved in several community organizations. And but first, we're going to go to a break. And tweet your questions at DavidL2490. And we'll be back with Shawn Salyers after these messages.
Hope you don't hear that sound at the 5th Annual Great Grown Up Spelling Bee on Thursday, September 18th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the University of Houston Sugar Land. Support the Literacy Council of Fort Bend County by being a spectator bee. The cost is $45 at the door. Sponsorship and underwriting opportunities are available and range from $75 to $5,000. For more information, visit www.grownupbee.com or contact Christina Guerra at 281-240-8181. Your support can change a life.
KBRZSports.com is your home for Fort Bend ISD varsity sports, all Sugarland Scooters away games, Fort Bend Playbook, Fort Bend Spotlight, Coach's Corner with Fort Bend ISD Athletic Director Philip O'Neill, Fort Bend Food Rampage, and Skeeter Nation. Check back often at KBRZSports.com for the latest scheduled events, activities, and outings in the Fort Bend community. KBRZ Sports, kids, communities, and commerce.
Are you looking for a new vehicle in the near future? If so, be sure to contact Damian Walker over at Freddie Kia. Damian went to the University of Houston and is from Houston. He is Houston through and through. If you're looking for a new vehicle, contact Damian at Freddie Kia. His number is 713-499-9372. No unnecessary upsells, no bells and whistles you don't want, just a car that's perfect for you. Contact Damian Walker at Freddie Kia today, 713-499-9372.
Just because it's summertime doesn't mean KBRZ Sports is off the air. This summer is jam-packed with broadcasts of all Sugarland Skeeter away games and your favorite shows, including the Fort Bend Playbook, Food Rampage, Fort Bend Spotlight, and the newest show, Make It Happen with David Lorms. So click your browser on your PC or smartphone on over to KBRZSports.com. KBRZ Sports, kids, community, commerce.
Texas Community Referral Network is all about the community. Have access to the best businesses on our local websites and numerous money-saving offers on our free mobile app. Go to tcrnhouston.com to find your community website and visit your mobile app store to install the free TCRN app and start saving today. TCRN, connecting you with the community.
And we're back with Shawn Salyers talking about his career path from high school to being a business owner, and we're going to talk about some of the community organizations he's involved in. And one of the things that you're involved in is with the Oaks Dads Club, and it's kind of important to you because don't you have a son that plays Gabriel? He plays t-ball there at the Oaks Dads Club. And does your daughter do any, Deborah, does she do any sports?
We've tried to get her to do sports, and she's not interested. She likes dance, and she likes
instruments. She'll be the cheerleader.
Yeah. She's actually she's at Discovery Gymnastics. She does dance there and gymnastics there.
And they're twins.
Yeah, they're twins. They're just turned 6.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit what you do with the Oaks Dads Club.
Well, my boy plays t-ball there. He's 6. I've been an assistant coach and a coach there. And actually, I just got elected as vice president over there.
Wow! Congratulations.
So, on the corporate board. So, right now, my main focus is trying to, raise money for, for the various projects around there, and also get more kids, more athletes.
And I am also interested in the Oaks Dads Club. I advertise there, and that's one way a company could help with organization, right? Is do advertising, and you put it on the fence.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's just a win-win-win. I mean. I actually have for Mytiburger, I have the naming rights to one of the fields. We have Mytiburger Field.
Oh wow!
I got a sign on the fence. I've sponsored 2 teams. If a kid hits a home run there, they get a free sundae from Baskin Robbins.
Wow!
So to me, it's a great way not only to you advertise, you get your name in front of a bunch of young families within your community, day after day after day.
Yep.
But not only that, but you're also associated with a good cause.
Right.
So you're associated with, like all the good feelings that come with a baseball game.
Right.
And not only that, but it's just our duty as, as business owners in the area to sponsor things like this and, and help raise good neighbors, that will eventually become your customers. So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't know if you know this, but I am your insurance guy.
Oh, cool.
I have the insurance for the Oaks Dads Club. And big thanks to Sean Jez because he's the president, right?
Right.
And he came to me for that. So we're happy to help out. But what are some other things that y'all do as far as fundraising at the Oaks Dads Club?
We do the signs. That's a big thing. We're actually just getting a PA system this year so we can actually make announcements with so we can mention the sponsors more often. My background's in advertising. My degree's in advertising. So to me, it was this is kind of I get that fix of selling advertising.
Right.
And I get to, like kind of, I think it's good for the kids because it kind of the major leagues have advertisers everywhere. It's part of the game now. It's part of like the logos and the, sponsored by this, associated with this. And I kind of like want that. It's kind of more like, like the big leagues having that around. So having the signs up and having like, brought to you by and things like that. I mean, I think it's good. So there's that. We're selling right now. We're trying to raise money for scoreboards.
Yes.
That's our big project, and we're almost there thanks to Justin Gordon Holmes,
Justin, yes.
Oak Forest Vet Clinic, Kona Ice. They've made some big donations to help.
Wow! So thank you guys for that.
And we're almost to our goal of $10,000. We just need 2 more sponsors, $1,600.
So how can someone who's interested in sponsoring get in touch with y'all?
Just call me, or shoot me an email. It's or on Facebook. Or just call Mytiburger or Baskin Robbins. I mean, if you just touch base with me, I'll find a way to find you.
So if you want to Google him, it's ShawnSalyers, right? Shawn Salyers. Yeah. And there's multiple ways you can be found. Facebook is one of probably the easiest, or call it one of the businesses. Right. I have to say, for me as a business person, having my sign on the fence has been really good. Right. It's constant exposure, even if the field's being used for non-sporting events.
Oh, yeah.
And you're constantly out there, and I love that. And I've been on the fence, so to speak. My signage has been on the fence for a couple of years, and it's just more exposure. And so people will say, gosh, I saw your picture here. I saw your picture there. I saw it there. Mm-hmm. And so I want to say to these other business owners in the area, really consider that, because the money goes to the local community,
right?
And it's a great way to promote your business, like you said.
Oh yeah, and I'm proud. I mean, I'm proud of having Mytiburger Field. I mean,
yes.
when I see my sign out there, it's it's a source of pride for me. It's not like any other advertising I do.
Right.
I mean, I when I see it associated with Oaks Dad's Club, a league that's been there for 60 years. And how many people have come through that league, and how many people have some fond memories of it.
Yes.
Like having my business associated with it is, that's it's a good thing. It really it's a good feeling.
Now say again what the sports are that you have there at that field. T-ball's one.
Well, we have baseball for the boys, and and also for the girls. They're definitely welcome in. We have a girls softball league.
Okay.
And there used to be a football league, and the trend in football, youth football now, is it's more select teams. So, but we're actually hoping to get a soccer program up and running.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
And we're looking for soccer people that want to start a soccer league, and we offer all the infrastructure, the fields, the corporate board, the insurance, the nonprofit organization, and we're just looking for a soccer president, soccer coaches, soccer board members to come in and just start a soccer league. If you ever wanted to start a soccer league and with styled the way you want it, then this would be your opportunity.
A great opportunity.
Exactly.
I'm so glad you got to say that, because who knows, someone listening out there,
right? That's what I'm
hopefully is gonna Google you now, Shawn Sawyer. So besides the Oaks Dads Club, you're also involved with MANA, which is Administrative Assistance Ministry. No. I'm sorry. I got it wrong. Ministry Assistance near Northwest Alliance, right?
Correct.
Sorry. Okay. MANA. MANNA.
Yeah.
And the actual store location is located at 43rd and Oak Forest Drive. Well, I guess is Roslyn.
No. Roslyn, right. Roslyn and 43rd.
And it's right down the street from Mytiburger, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's
right by the Family Dollar behind that that empty building the mystery building.
Well, and that's a nice way of describing it, because it's really not nice to look at it. We hope something happens with that one day. But MANA is a storefront that people can go buy gently used clothing, household goods.
Right.
I've been there myself, and it's always fun to see what kind of neat things are in there.
Right.
And the money goes to churches.
It goes to local charities. It goes to the churches. I mean, MANA is actually at it's a bunch of churches came together and support this organization. And then the money goes back to the causes that the churches are supporting.
That's amazing.
And a lot of local families, people in the northwest part of Houston, like your neighbors, the people that you see walking down the street that need help, it's going to them. And it goes to we have an eye care program, we have a food bank. So it's not just a thrift store. It's there's other things that it sponsors. So it's not the money's not going to a CEO or
right.
I mean, I'm on the board of directors.
It's
we don't
nonprofit.
get paid. Yeah, it's all nonprofit.
And people can take stuff there and donate it and get a tax write-off, right?
Correct.
So if you have a garage sale and you don't want the rest of the stuff that didn't sell, you can take it to Mana.
We will come pick it up.
Really?
Yes. If you have a garage sale, if you call us and arrange in advance,
I didn't know that.
We'll send a truck on the weekend to come get whatever you got. So.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but the stuff I've had has always been a bag or two, and I don't have a problem going by there. Because I love to see Patricia Dornack, who works there.
She's awesome.
She is an amazing woman.
Exactly, yeah.
She is on the executive committee for the Oaks Business Association, and I've had such a fun time working with her.
She's the one who recruited me to Mana, and it was my first experience being on a board of directors, and I didn't know, and come on, it's not that hard.
She's got such an amazing personality, don't you think? She's always upbeat. Right. And a smile, and it's just nice to be around people like that. So what is your position on the Mana board?
I'm just a board member.
Just a board member?
Yeah, just a board member.
Okay, well, just. Well, see, I think this is going to really help me eat more than one burger now, knowing that the money helps support you give back to the community.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm joking about it, but that's really the truth. I mean, doing business with you is helping the community. I
think most small businesses should be like that.
I agree.
That's the point of having, that's what separates us.
Right.
And that and our, dedication to service, knowing our customers and, having the hands-on.
Well, and you're not in Vegas every weekend driving in a limousine. I mean, you work at Mytiburger and Baskin Robbins. You can walk in and see you and get your autograph.
Right.
So I have to remind people about the free or the offer that Shawn has generously made. That if you buy a burger, you get a free shake at Mytiburger for a whole week. Right. And at Baskin Robbins, it's buy one Sunday, get one free, and it's what, 2 scoops?
2 scoops Sunday. Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm hungry already. So, so you've got Mana and you got the Oaks Dads Club, and you've also participated with the Oaks Business Association as well.
Yep.
Man, what do you not do?
I love Oaks Business Association. I would spend more time with them if it weren't for the other two. It started up during baseball season, so now that that's over, I can step back a little bit and kind of get back over there. So.
But I like the fact that you live in the neighborhood, your business is in the neighborhood, and you're involved.
Oh yeah, and it's a great neighborhood. I mean, not just Oak Forest, but Garden Oaks and Timber Grove, and and Candlelight and all the area. I mean, really. We call it Garden Oaks Oak Forest, but it's really, one big.
It really is,
right?
Yeah, and it encompasses even more than that.
Oh yeah, and it's getting bigger too. But I feel it has a kind of a small town vibe to it.
Yes.
And there's definitely a feeling that if what you do there stays in the your reputation stays in the neighborhood.
Yes.
So if you carry yourself correctly, you get rewarded for it.
Right.
As opposed to if you other parts of town, I don't think nobody knows what you do, and so you're competing with people that can act however they want. And I like that playing field better.
Yes, I like that hometown kind of, even though we're in one of the largest cities in the nation.
I mean, I kind of figured it out when I was buying equipment, and I went to go talk to somebody about some kind of I think it's a fryer or something, and they knew the business, they knew this person's. Everybody, the business owners all know each other, so I got the feeling if I didn't do business with this person correctly, that there would be consequences.
Right.
And that's the way it should be.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. Well, this being a holiday weekend, July 4th coming up, is that a busy time for you?
For Baskin Robbins, does pretty good. Mytiburger, actually, not so much. It's
really?
I think Mytiburger, I figured out that our best days are regular days. I mean, where there's nothing going on, where everybody's just in the groove.
Well, a lot of people are cooking out, maybe.
Yeah, people are cooking out. I mean, there other holidays. There's other meals around it. Mother's Day, people go to a fancy restaurant. Holidays, people go out to eat to business parties and stuff. When it's just a regular groove, like a regular those are the days that Mytiburger does better because we're kind of the comfort, comfort food. Get something to drive through.
I love comfort
Mom
food.
needs to get something. We had some kind of practice or there was a recital or something. They got to pick something up. That's what we're for.
Yeah. Well, and then it's going to be hot. So what better way to cool off? Exactly. I could eat a whole cake myself. I don't know about. I'll take one cake for me. Then you can get what you want.
For the 2-scoop sundae, you got to bring somebody else with you.
Okay, all right, I can do that. But yeah, you'll probably be busy over there because.
Oh yeah, this is our time of year, and this is actually our business doesn't do as well during the winter.
Yeah, that
and
makes
so
sense.
this is where we make our money to try to get through and get up momentum and then get through the winter. And then
now, do you serve anything for the winter, like a hot chocolate or something?
Baskin Robbins has tried it before and just wasn't, it's just not successful.
They built an image, and that kind of went against the image that they built. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay, that's right. Well, it's funny because before the show you showed me a picture of a cake that you did for Jose Madrigal for I'm not going to say his birthday. How old he is, but one of the owners of Studio Fitness, and you did the cake, and it was custom, and you wrote on it, and had the business colors, and
we did the
everything.
logo. Yeah,
it was amazing.
Yeah, and hearing him on the radio reminded me of that cake. That's why I looked it up. It's been a while, but
it's on your Facebook page.
Yeah, it's on our Facebook page. It's under. If you look at our pictures for Oak Forest, Baskin Robbins, you can see a lot of the cakes we've done in the past, and we have really good decorators there that can do some pretty cool stuff. And
so Oak Forest. Baskin Robbins.
Right.
And then Mytiburger.
Right.
Those are the names of the two pages that people can find you on Facebook.
Correct.
And then, of course, you have your personal page. And in our next segment, we're going to type questions for Shawn. So be sure to tweet them at DavidL2490, or you can send me a private message on Facebook, and we'll have Shawn answer your questions right after these messages. Do you trust your insurance agent? Hi, my name is David Lorms. Anyone can sell you insurance, but I have the unique perspective and experience of being a former claims professional. It's when you need to use your insurance that you really depend on a seasoned professional where customer satisfaction is number one. I can be reached at 713-688-8669, and all calls are rolled to my personal cell phone after hours. You can also visit lormsinsuranceservices.com. Hey, I have to sleep at night, so I need to make sure you're covered.
Tired of going to the same restaurants every week? Want to know what new eateries have opened up recently? Tune in to the Food Rampage as Dominique and Priya dish about their favorite restaurants. Catch us live every Tuesday at 3 p.m. on kbrzsports.com and iHeartRadio for the live show. Be sure and follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook at Food Monsters. Join us as we rampage through the Houston area.
Texas Community Referral Network is all about the community. Have access to the best businesses on our local websites and numerous money-saving offers on our free mobile app. Go to tcrnhouston.com to find your community website and visit your mobile app store to install the free TCRN app and start saving today. TCRN, connecting you with the community.
Looking for a way to be involved in Fort Bend ISD varsity sports? Want to sponsor a team, game, or hear your child's name mentioned during a Fort Bend ISD varsity game? KBRZ Sports can broadcast your business or personal message for a reasonable price. Contact our sales department at www.kbrzsports.com for more information on how you can be part of Fort Bend ISD Sports. KBRZ Sports, connecting Fort Bend County business owners, families, and Fort Bend ISD varsity sports. With all the hype and true doctor reports on concussions and head trauma caused by athletics, are you burdened by having to decipher what it all means to find a solution to best protect your child? Cognitive baseline testing, a procedure that takes about 30 minutes, gives a baseline of cognition function, response, memory, and motor functionality of your child. The results are given to you and your primary care physician, and in the event of a head trauma of any kind, the test procedure can be applied again with the results of the baseline to compare it to. This is the only way you can have a true indication if damage of any kind has occurred. The days of how many fingers am I holding up is not good enough. Certainly doesn't give me as a parent the comfort and security I need to worry less while my kiddo is growing into the champion of their dreams.
And we're back with Shawn Salyers, the owner of Mytiburger and Baskin Robbins in the Oak Forest, Garden Oaks area. Sorry, what was I thinking there? Anyway, so we got some questions for you, Shawn, and one of the questions is, can you order any cakes online?
Oh yeah. We just started an online ordering system. If you go to BaskinRobbins.com, There's a link there, and you just pick your closest store. And if you want to order from us specifically, we're Oak Forest.
Are there more options by doing it that way?
There are actually less options. It's kind of just a uniform cake. So it'll be we have a certain selection there that you can order online. But if you really want a custom cake, you need to call. Yeah, call with the flavor you want. Our decorator will get with you. They can do some pretty cool stuff.
But if you're thinking about it at midnight or on the weekend or something, and it's more convenient, you just jump right on the internet. I like that idea. And this is not a question, but this is a comment congratulating you on being ranked on several categories as the Reader's Choice in the Leader newspaper. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, the Leader definitely complimented it. I mean, it was we won. Mytiburger got best hamburger. We got best takeout. We got second best in breakfast. Let's see, what else did we get in there? And then Baskin Robbins got best ice cream. They got best date place. And then for best service, Baskin Robbins got first. Mytiburger got second.
Wow. Yeah. How can you remember all that? That's a lot. That's pretty cool because the readers are voting. So it's the community that is
that's
voting.
The biggest compliment you can get.
It really is. Yeah. I think that's great. Okay, so I have another question here that would like to know, what is your business philosophy?
I tell my my employees this, and I always get everything's going to be okay. And that's like when you're in business, like everybody wants to tell you, it'll work out, everything's gonna be okay. And my thing is, I think it's probably from the Army, is that you've got to make it okay.
Yes.
You've got to actually, you don't just sit back and say, it's going to be all right. You've got to make it all right. You've got to, and I think it's from the Army, like improving your fighting position. You've always got to be working on it. You've always got to be improving your situation. So, my philosophy has always been like, I'm always trying to gather intelligence. I'm always trying to find out what's going on. I'm always trying to make things better. I want to cut out as many variables as possible.
Well, you have just said the philosophy of the title of the show, Make It Happen.
Exactly.
I mean, it's up to you, and you can't just sit back.
Exactly.
And rest on your laurels. You have to constantly improve, read, learn.
Right.
And it's up to you only. No one's going to do it for you. I think that's great. Okay, so who was your mentor? It was one question, but I think you just said that your grandmother was one of them.
Oh, yeah. My grandmother definitely. And I learned a lot through her actions, not her words. She never told me things, but just watching her.
She lived by example.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Like on everything. On, the way she, how hard she worked, definitely. The fact that she always took care of people. She always took care of, like, if there was somebody needed help, she always did whatever she could to help them. And
that's so wonderful.
One thing I heard the expression that talking about Johnny Cash, that he never let his principles stand in the way of his compassion. Yeah, and I think that's really great. That's what she did. So I definitely was that stuck with me, and that's the way I put words to what she did. And I kind of that's what my grandma always did, and that's really what I try to do.
I like that.
And then when I went to restaurant business, my first job was at a Black Eyed Peas, my first waiting job was at a Black Eyed Peas, and I had a really good manager who taught me a lot about the business and a lot about how to manage people. And he was like just kind of like a big brother to me, and he really took me under his wing, and I learned a lot just about customer service and about like how to how to stay cool like during a big rush, and then had a lot of good leaders in the Army and a lot of bad ones too that I learned from. That I had to learn from their mistakes and learn and also from just really good men and women, some of the best people I ever met in the military, and learning that culture of getting things done, and that's I look back and a lot of the way I lead people and the way I motivate people all comes from the military.
Really? Yeah. Well, some people never have a mentor, and it's really important, I think, to have one, particularly if you're a business owner, but even if you want to be successful in other ways in your life. And some people don't have or find those, and you've had 3.
I think a lot of people they've had mentors, they don't realize they had them. They were there, and there were people who have been tucking you, and you never stopped that they
or took advantage of it.
Exactly.
Really
right.
Got the most out of it that you could. And yes, I have a business coach. His name is Dennis Pagoo, and he helps me.
Awesome.
And so I think it's important. So that's good.
One I can't overlook is the old owner of Mytiburger, Kathy. I mean,
really, yeah.
I learned a lot from her. I mean, she's been doing it for 20-something years. I mean, longer than that. I mean, no, I don't ask her age, but she knows so much and about the neighborhood and everything. I mean, just she'd been doing it for so long, and I mean, I don't think she'd consider it a mentor relationship, but I mean, like I said, you don't know that they're mentors until after the fact. Like how much you learn.
True.
From them, right?
Yeah. Well, you've been very lucky to have several that took interest in you and took you under your wing. Well, I think that's all the questions that we have for Shawn today. What I do want to talk about is that our next show is we're going to have Jennifer Barrientes. She is the new principal at Lulu Stevens Elementary School. Her first day was July 1st. So she's brand new, so you want to make sure you listen to that show and tweet your questions at DavidL2490 or even private message them to me on Facebook. I was lucky enough to be on the interview committee that selected her and just think that she's a phenomenal person. She is a great leader for that school, and she's going to do great things like the outgoing principal Lucy Anderson did. It's just fantastic. Awesome. And you mentioned Justin's name, and Justin Gordon donated their new sign out front. He's done a lot for the area too, and I just think that you have an amazing story that people can relate to and know that you just don't give up. You got to keep going, and if you drop out of school, you still got to go back, and you got to finish, and you got to go on and take the next step and keep moving towards your dreams, or they're never going to happen. And look at you. You've got several businesses now, and you probably are a mentor to people you don't even realize.
I hope so. I try. Yeah.
and I'm the same way. I try to think about that too when I'm dealing with people, because you just never know how you're going to affect them in their life. And so I try to live by example. I said try. But that doesn't always make it to fruition, unfortunately. But anyway, so be sure you listen to Jennifer Barrientes, and then the show after that is going to be Billy Hartman. Billy Hartman and his father and his son that are of Hartman Real Estate.
Talk about a family that does a lot for the community.
They do. They've been around for a long time. Yeah. And if they don't know you or about you in the neighborhood, nobody does, because they're well connected and some great folks there. So it's the show can be listened to obviously at kbrzsports.com, but there are other ways you can find the show as a podcast after the fact. You can go to my website, lormsinsuranceservices.com. You can go to Spreaker.com, SPREAKER.com. You can go to the KBRZsports.com website. And I have a special page, Make It Happen with David Lorms, that you can listen to the shows. And, of course, I post them on Facebook, so there's no reason why you shouldn't listen. And hear the great stories about Shawn. So, Shawn, before we go, are there any big plans coming up for you with any of your businesses, or probably don't have time?
No. Yeah, I'm kind of I'm just in a building pattern right now. I'm just trying to, build both of them up and, get Baskin Robbins, trying to, get the money to get through the winter.
Yes.
Mytiburger, we have the breakfast right now. That was our big thing. And so we're trying to, we rolled that out. And we're trying to, make sure that's stable.
A lot of buzz about the breakfast. I see a lot of posts on Facebook about that.
Good.
I think that's great. And it doesn't surprise me at all that you were voted for that category by the readers, because it seems to be a big hit.
Cool.
Do you have to have extra staff in the morning for that?
Right now I don't. I just bring in 2 people, and they do a good job. I have 2 of my best employees in the morning.
Well, that's good. And do you have any employees who have been with you for a long time?
I have Linda, who's been with me, been there for about almost 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I've got my employees at Baskin have been with me since I started. It's about 3 years, but
that's a pretty good thing. I mean, you never hear of that.
Oh, Linda's amazing. I mean, she's been there 20 years, and she's just a great family. And her family's kind of taken me in, and they remind me of my family from Corpus. I've coached with her son. I've coached her grandson at Oaks Dad's Club. Her husband was a ODC coach. They're just they're just great people. So.
Is she the one there that calls you hon?
No, she's
I love that lady too, because
she's real sweet. That's Misty. She's awesome. But no, that's Linda's a little Hispanic lady. Who's,
okay, yeah.
And she's just she's all business. She's great, man.
She's a mini Shawn.
Oh,
That speaks Spanish.
Yeah, she's actually going to become kind of a mentor just because she's been there so long and she knows what she's doing, and she's like,
so you can even order your burger in Spanish.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We're in Texas, man.
You know. I like that.
We still have what I guess is.
I like that. Well, you've got a huge menu too, and we want to remind everybody about the specials. Buy one Sunday, get one free if you mention the show at Baskin Robbins over there on 43rd next to Kroger's. Mm-hmm. And then you get a free shake with a burger at Mytiburger. Mm-hmm. What a deal. Mm-hmm. I think I'm going to get one.
Today?
Yeah, today. I'm going to speed, so I don't hope I don't get a ticket. But anyway, thank you so much for listening, and listen next week. We got Jennifer Barrientos, and just don't sit there, make it happen.
I see that you're so low.